Mi gente, you already know who it is. It's Danny Limelight. And I need all of you to subscribe to According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and all other platforms.
What's good, party people? This is According to Woods, and I have the honor and privilege of talking to the newly minted after a amazing split with a tag team partner. You could say a mad scientist of sorts, but he is FCF's one and only Ioni. Ioni, what's going on, my man?
Thanks, man. I'm doing great. I had to correct you about the newly. We just talked about it a bit, about my breakup with my tag partner. It was 2017, so it's a couple of years back. I have my new gimmick like 4 years now or something. Yeah. But still FCF.
Yeah,
Wrestling and Ioni and everything.
It felt fresh. I mean, when I saw it on the Tube of You. I mean, most people call it YouTube, but I'm gonna go with the Tube of You, like the Book of Face, right? I was just like, oh my gosh, this feels real. But then also, yeah, you are absolutely right, because even 2017 kind of feels like a decade ago in 2020. Yeah, it's weird. Right?
And it was like December 2017, so 2018. So it's like less than three and a half years ago. So it's kind of new. New. Yeah.
I'm going to quote Jim Cornette. If you haven't seen it, it's new to you. So I'd encourage everyone to go ahead and search Ioni on the Tube of You or YouTube and check it out, because he's over. Which Miko, shout out to Miko over on YouTube.
Nice. It's Jamaica.
Yes.
Thanks, Jamaica.
Yes. So, I mean, Ioni, dude, it's so cool to have you here, representing FCF.
Good to be here.
Dude, you're tremendous. But I mean, let's kind of go first. Like, how did pro wrestling enter your life as a youngin'?
Well, you probably have heard this 1,000 times, but when I was a little kid, I watched Hulk Hogan on TV, even here in Finland. We didn't have it on our television, so my uncle had to, tape it to a VHS, and then he brought it to me, and I watched it taped. And I remember, I think it was Royal Rumble 92 or 93 or something like that. That was my first, contact to the sport or to the, pro wrestling. And I fell in love with Hulk Hogan and Ultimate Warrior, of course. Those were my two favorite back then.
Wow. So 92, 93 Rumble, I mean, was that the Flair Rumble? I know Flair was 92 when he won the title. Was that one?
Good question. I don't remember that correctly, but I remember, a couple of spots like where Macho Man hit Ultimate Warrior with the scepter. Yes. I don't think it was in the Royal Rumble, but it was somewhere around there. I started watching. I had this VHS tape with the Royal Rumble in it. I had it like 20 years or something. I watched it occasionally, but since I've lost it, so I don't know where it is now.
It happens. It happens. I kind of rehashed my my favorite WrestleMania actually last night, which is WrestleMania 10. And that was one when I was a kid. Like, we moved around a hell of a lot, but that was one that I was consistently, like, wherever we were, I would go and rent that tape and probably keep it, rack up the video VHS fees and, unwind the tape and everything, because I watched it so much. It still stands up. WrestleMania 10 for me is like my favorite WrestleMania.
There's lots of good stuff, even back there. So many years ago, but there's also lots of bad stuff. It's not. Yeah. Also, everything is not so entertaining, but there's sweet spots every now and then.
Yeah, sweet spots. I mean, thankfully we didn't get that 10-man tag team, which had like, oh fuck, man, it was like Jeff Jarrett, like Bob Sparkplug Harley. I think he was still like Thurman Plug. There was a head shrinkers, like just fucking, just so everybody can get a a paycheck, but
Yeah.
but I mean, they did it the next night on Raw, and it's weird. It's still weird, you know.
Yeah, and I was
But
like 7 years old. I'm born in '85, so I was like 6, 7 years old when I started watching. I didn't watch it all my childhood. It was like I stopped around 10 years old, and then got it back like 18 or 19 years old. So I had this gap where all like NWO and all that shit went through. Stone Cold Steve Austin, I already almost missed everything he has done and everything. And The Rock, I have watched them after, you know. And Stone Cold is my favorite of all time.
But you kind of, it doesn't surprise me because like you kind of remind me of a bit of Stone Cold in your.
I hear that a lot.
Yeah, it was like it's kind of like a
and
mixture
I take
of
it
like
as a compliment.
Oh yeah, 100%. But also when you look at those guys, right? You look at Moxley now, which you also remind me of, right? You know, it any of those guys, Moxley, Rock, you know, not Taker, but Austin, right? Those guys were them just fucking turned up to like 120 on the fucking, you know, the Richter scale or whatever, right?
Yeah, exactly.
So
that's why I changed the gimmick from the Mad Doctor to this one.
Yeah, see now our good friend Regina Rosendahl says Ioni.
Regina.
Yes, and the Super Janvi, Big Dog Ioni. I
Nice.
like that rather than Roman Reigns because I cannot understand Roman Reigns. So I'm Big Dog Ioni.
What? You can't stand Roman Reigns?
Oh, fuck me. How the hell are you going to be a SWAT guy, right? And you sell punches with a bulletproof vest, supposedly, right? But somebody punches you in the chest and you fucking go down like a sack of shit, right? And then
it's called pro wrestling.
Yeah, but let it make sense, right? If fucking Papa Shango started coming and doing the fucking jive, you know, like what the fuck are we doing? Right? Like that's one of the reasons why we revere the Undertaker so much, because that motherfucker never cracked, right? Tried to do the spinneroonie and everything. Even Vince came out and whatever, and they were all trying to get it, and that motherfucker was like, bit the inside of his lip and shit like that. He's like, we're not doing this shit. That's kind of the reason why we kind of love that guy, right? So
yeah.
So I'm just saying, like punches to the fucking chest and a bulletproof vest, right? You've got your cousins who are twin brothers named the Usos, but the Uso in Samoan means cousin, but they're brothers, but they're also from a penitentiary, but you're the SWAT guy. What
Isn't
the
like
fuck are we doing?
Every dude from where are they from? Hawaii or something? Aren't they cousins?
Samoa. Yeah,
Samoa,
the Anawahis. Yeah.
Every Samoan is a cousin, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. Everyone's a Rock's cousin. Every Samoan who is in WWE is a Rock's cousin. That I know.
Except for Samoa Joe. So shout out to Samoa Joe for not doing like the fucking whatever. He's just a big bad ass kicker, almost like Haku, right? And maybe Haku is, Haku is from Tonga, right? Different island. You don't want to confuse a Tongan for a Samoan. Hell, I know. I'm part Fijian. I kind of fall in that lineage, not the wrestling lineage, just the genealogy. Yeah. But I think like maybe Barbarian, Ming, and Samoa Joe are like the only islanders in wrestling that aren't of that Anawahi family tree.
Yeah.
It's right. Weird. But pro wrestling.
We don't have that in Finland. We are not related here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh man. I almost feel like
a couple of couples, or I'm kind of related to Regina, like she said on your podcast.
Yes.
I heard it listening today, actually, the Regina episode.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And folks go, because it's more her than me. She's awesome, and so is Ioni. So that's definitely something to go into the archives for. And our friend Ref Domi goes, hey, fire. And Ref Domi. Love Rough Nomi. Jobber. Oh wait.
That's a
Fill me in.
saying. That's a line of jobbers.
Okay.
We have this joke where we watch our old matches, like one of our firsts. We had a lot of battle royals when we started.
Yeah.
Because we had to get everyone on the card.
Right.
So we had the main event, maybe one other storyline, one tag team match, and rest of the people just go to battle royale. And every battle royale was, the announcer announces the match. We had this FCF theme song playing, and every wrestler just walks straight line to the ring and starts wrestling. So that's the jobber line. Every jobber just walks, listening to FCF theme, and walks to the ring and starts jobbing.
Yeah,
basically.
That's how you fucking do it. Kiss fizz, baby. Kiss fizz, man. That's the way you do it, Like, you just fucking throw everybody just to kind of get them in, get your feet wet and whatever. That's the way it should be done. You don't fucking start off at the top. And I'm looking at you, Santino Marella, the character, not the guy. But you don't fucking just stop in a fucking, top angle night one. But I guess, whatever.
I know it has its time and place, but not every show. Not every show.
Exactly.
Got kind of like old after a couple of Yobert lines.
Yeah, it wasn't too much far in between from Gail Kim doing it and Santino Marella, right? And then it wasn't. Yeah, I don't know. WWF. It's weird.
Yeah.
Stone Cold Ioni. I like that. That's amazing. That's tremendous.
We actually had, now that we're talking about Stone Cold, we had this Attitude show once where we purposely, imitated the gimmicks. So, of course, I had to be Stone Cold. We had Kane. Someone even came with a motorcycle, did an entrance. And then we had RVD, maybe some else. But I was Stone Cold, and the show ended with the spot that we had this hardcore championship, which was defended all night. And there was main event, and the winner won the championship belt, and everyone, jobber line ran into the ring, and everyone was fighting for the championship because you could win it wherever, whenever. And then, glass breaks. Stone Cold's theme. I come out with the leather vest, jean shorts, boots, and my look.
Yeah.
And I just go to the ring and give stunners to everyone. Announcer comes, I stun him. Referee comes, I stun him. I stun everyone. Then our general manager comes with the beer, and he offers me a beer, and he takes a beer. We open it up, cheers, drink, and then bam, stunner, and the beer went right through his, from his mouth, like. There's awesome pictures of the event. And then, of course, I had to take 2 beers. Our sound guy threw me 2 beer cans, open it up, and drink the beer, and Stone Cold theme was playing, and the crowd went nuts.
Yes.
It's probably one of the fondest memory I have on my career. I know it was like, it's basically just pretending to be someone else, Stone Cold, and people tell me that I look Stone Cold. So it's like kind of like stupid to go out there and pretend to be Stone Cold, but that was the point of the whole show. So it just went nuts. Everyone was, having fun, and it was called Attitude Show, and we had, the motorcycles. We had a hardcore match, and it was a fucking nice evening.
Yeah, but that's the way you do it, when you do a fucking retro show. Just like, the WWE is guilty of doing it too. So they'll have their old school Raws and shit like that, the old ring ropes and whatever. And people that want that type of show, that's what they want. So if you come out there and just maybe like, I don't know, a streamer for the Ultimate Warrior, like that's the thing about pro wrestling fans, right? They will call you on your bullshit like no other, right? So if you half-ass it, whatever. So you absolutely had to almost like a completely embody Stone Cold and do the thing. And that just shows like fuck, man, that's still over. That's what I want to pay to see. If we did Attitude Era night and nobody does Stone Cold, is it even an Attitude Era?
I know, right?
Right?
You got to have a Stone Cold in Attitude Era show. And I got a lot of, when I debuted this character with this shirt, I got a lot of, I'm CM Punk copy. And I was like, well, I have a white shirt with black, lines.
Right.
That's everything me and CM Punk had in common. So I wouldn't, say that it was copying. And you have to copy the greats, but you have to do it with your own terms. That's how you make, yourself great.
Yes.
Of course, you have to see what other greats have been doing and, copy some of that. Not everything, but some of that. And put your own juice to it. And that's magic.
I agree 100%. Right. And whoever said that to you, I mean, they must only have like maybe a passing knowledge of pro wrestling, because it's not like you can literally draw a line from superstar Billy Graham, Hulk Hogan, and then later Big Papa becomes Scott Steiner, and they're doing the fucking same thing, right? Like that's, how many Nature Boys have there been aside from Ric Flair, right? Like
exactly, yeah.
Right, but you're you, right? You're a definitive article of you, right? There was nothing that could be fake about it. Like, oh, I just started listening to fucking punk music or whatever. No, that's not what we're doing it.
And
he just happens
CM
to like.
Punk's, CM Punk's strong gimmick was like, his straight edge, and I'm very open about my beer drinking. So it's, I'm way over CM Punk. At least if you have a meter with alcohol drinking, you're not on the same level with CM Punk.
See, that's again, and that's a pretty cool thing to say. CM Punk is not on my level. It might be borderline alcoholism, but guess what, Ioni? I'm there with you. So cheers, brother. Cheers.
That's right.
Now, Regina said, yep, that guy, I'm that guy's sister-in-law. That's why FCF is a family business now, which I love. I have a bit of dyslexia when I wrote it, because I was like, I thought she was calling you her sister-in-law. And I was like, wait, that can't be right. And I read it over. So shout out to you.
We're all brothers and sisters.
Yeah. Do you guys in the locker room? Hey, this is what we're going to do tonight, brother. Do you guys out-brother each other?
No, not everyone. But,
okay.
But yeah, we are. I'm dating. Dating is the wrong word, because I'm living with Regina's sister now. So we are past the dating phase. But we just bought a house, so I'd say we are not dating anymore.
I agree that putting a mortgage to it, I think that solidifies the relationship for sure.
Yeah. But we're not married yet, so no, we're not wife and husband yet. But yeah, I consider Regina my sister-in-law very much.
I think that's brilliant. That's so brilliant. And Mina goes,
well, speaking of the devil, that's
your wife. Yeah, okay. Oh, and she says, oh, you would say. What would you say?
I think she's referring to the dating phase, that we are over the dating phase.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Hopefully I don't get you heat on this damn thing. So and Don McGuire of the Fighter's Voice says, what's up, gentlemen? What's good, Don McGuire?
Hi, Don.
Yes. So you have this lapse of, you watched as a kid, you kind of fell out of the Hogan Rock, I would say, not the Attitude Era, but like the Ruthless Aggression era, right? Like you kind of,
it was like the end of Ruthless Aggression era, when John Cena was, coming a star.
Yeah.
When I started watching again, I was like maybe 18 or something. I remember I was in high school.
Right.
I don't know if it's same in States. You are from States, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. I don't know what age you go to the high school there. But
yeah, that's high school.
Yeah. And it was then when I got access to internet and everything became so easy. to follow. Social media wasn't a thing back then yet,
Right.
but we had other ways to watch wrestling. So yeah, I fell in love with John Cena, obviously, and yeah, John Cena and Batista. I think because they were the biggest stars, and I was like huge fan back then. So there was not much else to fanboy over.
Yeah.
And of course Undertaker, because I remember Undertaker from back in the Royal Rumble 90 something.
Right.
So I knew who he was.
But it must have been a strange kind of scene. Like he's coming out in a biker gimmick, and like that dude's supposed to be dead. Like I kind of did that.
I think the biker gimmick was already done. He was back to being the man. Yeah.
Ah.
And I already know what pro wrestling was about, so I wasn't like, is he dead or in real life?
Well, you're better than me because, like, I, as a 36-year-old man, I'm not entirely convinced that if I shut off all the lights, I won't hear a fucking gong and the shrill of Paul Bear, especially since he's passed on to the other side. It has a higher probability of happening, right? Like, I'm not entirely convinced that, like, he's not gonna fucking walk to my bed and choke me the fuck out and put me in a body bag. I'm just saying.
The gong is one of the greatest thing that ever existed in pro wrestling, I think. I was watching WrestleMania, I think it was 31, was it in Dallas, in the AT&T Stadium. I was live there in Dallas. Yeah. It was Undertaker versus Shane McMahon, Hell in a Cell match. And I got to experience the gong and the Undertaker entrance live. I was like, holy shit, how can this be so cool? Just like fucking out of body experience.
Yes.
Yeah,
oh yeah.
It was something else.
I got literally goosebumps when you said it. I think I've only seen Taker live twice, and one it was really funny because so the town that I lived in Central California at the time, there's a theater and the arena like on the same kind of complex, the same facility, right? And whoever was booking the tour, the live event tour, was a non-TV whatever. Instead of booking the fucking arena, they booked the theater. So we had like a row of seats like that. The fucking ring was on the stage. It was all weird and shit like that. And then the entranceway was not long at all. It was just the curtain. You hear the gong, and it just took forever for the Undertaker to come out of the curtain. Yeah. Right. But when he came out, it was like, holy shit. And he was facing Edge on that tour. That was when they had the feud and everything over I think it was like, I don't know if it might have been like the rated R superstar kind of gimmick of incarnation of Edge. But even still, that's fuck, man.
There was two guys who were, larger than life, Undertaker and Brock Lesnar. Everyone else was like, okay, this is different live than it's from TV, because when you watch it on TV, everyone's like huge and everything's so fast and, with the camera. But when you're watching live, it's like, well, I could do that. not everything, but, they look like normal people. But then when the Undertaker came out and Brock Lesnar, it's just unnatural. It's so big and it moves like fucking animal. And they were the two guys. I was like, am I watching a CGI or something? How can this be real?
Yeah, and that was like literally like 15 years before Batista would be on Guardians of the Galaxy, so he wasn't CGI yet.
Did I say Batista? I meant Brock Lesnar.
Oh, Lesnar. Oh, fuck. Yeah,
Lesnar.
Lesnar's nuts. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry. Yes. I think that Batista wasn't on the card, if I remember, because it was a huge star-studded card. There was Austin, HBK, Cena, Rock, Undertaker, Triple H, almost everyone I wanted to see live, and I got to see them. So it was a great experience.
That's amazing. That's
Yeah.
there's nothing like a pro wrestling, but especially the WWE live experience. It's almost second to none, right? So
yeah, it was too long though. The morning started. I think it was 10 a.m. or something when the buses came to pick up us from the hotel, and we went to the stadium. We had to queue about like 3 hours in the heat outside. There was a confusion or something with the tickets or the entrance. We were 2 or 3 hours outside queuing, and when we got in, the whole stadium was full of people, and everyone was waiting for something in the lines. So it was like 5 hours queuing and lining before we got to our seats. The pre-show has started. I think one match had already ended, and we got to see the second match pre-show, and then the WrestleMania started, and it was like 6 hours or 7 hours. So it was like 12 a.m. or 11 p.m. or something when the event started. So from 10 a.m. to 12 a.m. it was like very long evening.
And it's
we
that
were
Texas
so
heat.
tired at the end of the main event was Roman Reigns versus Triple H, and I think I watched it after from the network, and it was quite okay match. But at the time live, we were so tired. The audience was shitting on the match. They were booing the shit out of Roman Reigns. He was supposed to be face, and it was just the main event wasn't a good experience. I just wanted to go home or to the hotel. But afterwards, we get to the hotel, and next day we went to see the Raw, and it was just magical again. So all in all, great experience.
See, I want to believe it wasn't the heat. I just think that Roman characterization was just the drizzling shits. That they're like, this guy fucking sells punches.
There's the Roman hate again.
Yes, might be. Just might be. Just saying, and. And we've got Hablas Hulas Senoritas, por favor. Shout out to you. But Regina says, Ioni goes to WrestleMania and says, hey, I can do that. And here we are. Which that's fucking brilliant, right? And
Mina was like, what? It was 2016, I think, 5 years ago. Yeah.
Yeah, what year is it? There you go. Yeah. Which, I mean, that's got to be fucking shitty. You come all the way from Finland and whatever, and you're fucking in the Texas heat for 5 hours, and then another 6 hours in the damn stadium and shit like that.
Yeah, but it was only for that one evening. We went we started the trip from Los Angeles, went to Hollywood and Universal Studios, and drove to Las Vegas and had a good time there, and then flew to Dallas and went to Hall of Fame, NXT. We got to see Shinsuke Nakamura's debut in WWE and WrestleMania and Raw. So the whole experience was very, very good. Very fondly remembering that. But it was just the WrestleMania was a tad too long.
Yeah, no. And here we are, we're going to have 2 nights, which I'm kind of sad because it was supposed to be at SoFi Stadium in Inglewood, California. I grew up in Inglewood, California with the Great Western Forum, as it was called, with like the Lakers, pre-Kobe, Magic Johnson and all those guys. Wayne Gretzky played there, whatever. I was going to have I've never been to WrestleMania. My first WrestleMania was going to be in my hometown, theoretically, nice. And then the fucking COVID. So it was actually supposed to happen like a couple days ago. Somebody said on Twitter, like, oh, today was supposed to be WrestleMania Day. I'm like, oh. Yeah.
Last year's WrestleMania was, I think, the first one in many, many years that I didn't watch WrestleMania at all. I usually watch WrestleMania and Royal Rumble every year. And that's basically my wrestling, what I watch nowadays. There might be when someone's, telling me that you should watch this match and this match, it was great. And then I go and watch some wrestling, but it's usually just Royal Rumble and WrestleMania. But last year I didn't watch WrestleMania because all the pre-taping and 2-day events, and I didn't have time for it.
Yeah, man, busy dude. Even with like the COVID situation, whatever, busy guy.
Well, not time. I would say interest. I didn't have interest. I had a lot of time last spring.
I was
yeah.
I was gonna give you a way out just in case somebody from NXT UK would be watching this, but fuck it, whatever. Yeah, it was boring as shit. Except for the fucking John Cena, the John Cena Bray thing was awesome, and then obviously the graveyard or the boneyard match and whatever that was cool too, for what it was. Yeah, but I mean, yeah, if you skipped it, yeah, you didn't miss much.
Yeah, let's see. Is it next weekend or something? The WrestleMania this year. Is it like a week from now?
Yeah, a week from now.
Yeah. Let's see if I have interest this time.
Yeah, the card doesn't look great, but it's fun. So we're trying to see. It's weird. Florida's weird. So we get in a matter of weeks, we get WrestleMania because at the same stadium that they had the NFL Super Bowl, and then in Jacksonville where AEW is, right? They're headquartered. Dana White and the UFC are doing a 15,000 seat arena, like jam packed and shit. So
that's crazy.
Hope you motherfuckers don't get COVID. That's what I'm saying. God, so you go to that WrestleMania, as Regina eloquently states, you go to the WrestleMania and says, I could do that. Now, was that the start? Did you go back to Finland and go like, I'm going to go to wrestling school. I'm going to start training.
No, I was already, started wrestling I started in 2014.
Okay.
And I went to WrestleMania 2016. So it was, I already was in the business, if you could say. And it wasn't like I had this huge inspiration to train. And my goal has never been to get to WWE. My goal originally was to, wrestle one match, so I can say that I have wrestled the pro wrestling match.
Yeah.
For myself, for the kid myself.
Yeah.
Myself as a kid.
Right.
But then when I started the wrestling school and I had the first match, which wasn't good by any standards, by the way, I came to realize that I like this. I love this. I love to do this. And so I kept doing it. And I always thought that I would do everything I can to make, Finnish professional wrestling better. So make my mark here in the Finland rather than move to States or, Britain or Germany or wherever Japan. Those are kind of the 4 only countries where you can make a living with wrestling. Or then you have to, travel the world. I get the idea that traveling the world, wrestling everywhere, it sounds magical and it's fun for a while. But, 10 years doing that, and then you break your leg or neck or something, and you're left with nothing. So would it be great? I don't think so. But all power to everyone who's willing to go through that. I'm not saying don't follow your wrestling dreams. Of course, there are people fulfilling these dreams every night. So go ahead if you want, but that was never my goal.
I love it. And Regina says, can't imagine this place being FCF without you, So that's
kind
it.
Of Regina. Thanks.
Yeah. And she also says Bianca Belair and Sasha Banks will be fire. It may be. No, 100%.
Oh, is it on this year's WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Yeah, Belair won the Royal Rumble, right? Yeah.
Yeah, so
that was a good match.
Yeah.
I liked it. Women's Royal Rumble.
It was better than the men's.
Yeah.
Sorry, it was fucking way
There's
better. There's
nothing to be sorry about.
No, not at all. Like, no. Yeah, and even
it was better.
I don't know. Like, maybe it was a foreboding, but I actually love the one. Like, there was a couple high spots, but Edge and Christian being in the Final Four and what have you. When you look back at it now, with Christian going over to AEW, whatever, that was actually like the farewell of Edge, like to Edge and Christian for the WWE audience.
Right.
Yeah, so it's kind of cool. I don't remember like somebody coming back. Maybe like Mr. Perfect was probably the last one in like the 2002 Royal Rumble where somebody makes a return and they make it to the Final Four. Like that was like, oh shit, like something, he could win this thing, but everybody knew it was going to be Edge. But like, it just kind of give you a sliver of doubt in your mind. Like maybe Christian can win one,
Yeah, well, that's the point. That's the goal of pro wrestling. You give those slimmers of hope, or what if? Could it be? I remember one of the matches when I started. I had actually a second, part of my life when I didn't watch wrestling. I watched John Cena's, rise to the top phase, and then I stopped for a couple of years, and I came back when Randy Orton was facing Undertaker in WrestleMania, and I remember I knew about the Undertaker's streak. It was like 23 or 24-0 at the time, something like that, and I knew that of course Undertaker's gonna win this because he's undefeated at WrestleMania. He can't lose. And I watched the match, and it was one of those matches where I went like, holy shit, Orton is going to win this.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's happening right now. Oh, no, it's happening. And then, no, Undertaker wins. And it was a great match. I don't remember the details so much, but it was one of those matches. And Michaels was versus Undertaker. First one was another one.
Yeah,
that happened.
Yeah, I mean,
actually, I think I'm misplacing the two. I think it was Michaels versus Undertaker. Yeah, that was the WrestleMania when I came back the second time. Yeah, and that was the moment where I thought that HBK is gonna end the streak. Yeah.
Damn. Well, so I got an inclination. I again lived in Central California in Bakersfield, right? And the Rabobank Arena, those are the ones where like if you're a big star, you might not see them because like again, nobody's sending Instagram selfies of like the Bakersfield sign or anything like that. Like, if you're away from the US or whatever, LA, San Francisco, you might know San Diego, but Bakersfield is not one of them, right? When I see Shawn Michaels in DX gear at a live event in Bakersfield, California, weeks from WrestleMania, I was like, oh, Taker's winning. This is Shawn's like, bye-bye, motherfuckers. Like he's wrestling in front of like maybe 8,000 people in Bakersfield. I was like at a live event, non-televised. I was like, oh yeah, he's losing. He's losing. He's going bye-bye. But
that's I think that's my favorite match of all time. Taker versus HBK 1. Yeah.
That's a fucking good one.
It is. Yeah.
So I mean, when you went to Mania in Dallas, you were already 3 years in. So let's kind of rewind it back. Like when you decide, like what was the decision? Because you basically kind of fell into it as a young man fell in love again with pro wrestling. So what was the course of action? Because I mean, for me, Finnish wrestling, the only thing that we had on like a WWF scale was Ludwig Vorga, and when you look at Tony Halm, it isn't so pretty in terms of that guy.
Yeah, and I haven't watched live wrestling ever, and I only knew about FCF Wrestling for a couple of years before I started wrestling myself. I found some promo from YouTube or something, and there was a stint that FCF Wrestling was shown in our cable TV. There was this Smash TV show. It was like 6 episodes or something, and I watched it from TV. So that's how I, came familiar with FCF Wrestling. And I started to follow, the wrestlers in social media and try to, engage, hit them with comments or liking their posts, and I was like, holy shit, there's professional wrestling in Finland. And everything was, when you watch it from computer, YouTube, everything's like, okay, I could I would want to do this. And then I saw advertising in wrestling's homepage that they are gonna arrange this 2-3 month intense course of pro wrestling, and everyone who passes this course gets to wrestle one match. So I was like, that would be nice to go to the wrestling course for 3 months. But I don't know if you know about Finland. It's like a long country,
Geographically, yeah.
Geographically, yeah. So I'm from Oulu, which is like 600 kilometers from Helsinki, where I live now, or around Helsinki. Yeah. So there was not the chance for me to like go from home to the school. It was 600 kilometers. It's like 400 miles or something.
Mm-hmm.
And I was working. I had a family. I had friends. Everything in Oulu. I think I just went like, just forget about it. It would be cool, but I'm not gonna move to Helsinki to pro wrestle. You can't make a living in Finland with it. But then I had this. The company where I was working at the time went, bankrupt or something. They went out of business, and I was left out of job. So I had one friend in Helsinki who I called and asked if it would be okay if I came to live in your house for the 3 months while I go to the wrestling school. And she was like, okay, that's cool. And there it was. I remember I hung up the phone. I was like, okay, so now there's nothing to stopping me from not going. So I think I'm going. So I just packed I didn't get rid of my apartment that time because I legit thought that I would go for the 3 months, wrestle one match and move back to Oulu. So I would continue my life where I left it off. Yeah. But little did I know, I moved to Helsinki. I started to look for a job because I had no job in Oulu. Yeah. So after a week, I got a job in Helsinki. I started to look for apartments. Another week went by, I found an apartment. So now I was living in Helsinki in my own apartment. I had a job and I had wrestling. And here we are, still living here.
That's a boyhood dream. That's that phrase, especially associated to Shawn Michaels, that gets used a lot. But it literally was. You didn't think, and then you did it. And everybody needs a friend like yours in Helsinki. You're like, I need a crash on your couch. I don't got a job, but I'm gonna try this wrestling thing. Like everybody needs a friend like that.
That's true.
So. And Regina says, "Yeah." I already explained to Adam the part where we didn't have a place to train for 2 months. Absolutely, you did, and we were just on our own. Good times, but that's
there was every reason for me to stop the wrestling after the 3 months because I had wrestled my one match. Well, like I said, it wasn't a good match. I didn't have any standards back then, but I got to do the thing I came here to do.
Yeah.
And like Regina said, we didn't have a wrestling training center after this 3 month camp or course. And they were like, now you're on your own. And I was like, I just fucking moved 600 kilometers away from Oulu to here to wrestle. And after these 3 months, we don't have a training facilities. We don't have a trainers. We didn't have, all we had was shows and they were random. They were like, okay, you see Facebook message. We have a show next month. Okay, cool. And nothing else. No other shows. It was like random shows, random time. Sometimes there was like a couple of shows beforehand or, a couple of weekends with 2 or more shows. So we could see like 3, maybe 4 shows ahead, but it was always so random and nothing was organized, and we basically had to take over the whole fucking business and make it work.
But I mean, those are some fun stories where, I mean, and when Regina was talking about it, during her podcast, I was just like, but that's actually pro wrestling, right? Where, a territory, right? This is, pre, Vince McMahon's like expansion of the world basically happened. That's what it was. It's like wrestling was a family business. You look at the Von Erichs of Texas, you look at Vern Gagne, in Minneapolis, like everywhere, right? Even the World of Sport guys, in over in England, right? That was a family, the Crabtrees, that was a family fucking business, right? So, what happened to you guys with FCF and the story isn't all that strange and unite. That's actually pro wrestling AF. It's pro wrestling as fuck, because that's what it is.
Yeah, it is. And I know a lot of promotions, smaller ones, especially in Europe, they have, they run the promotion like FCF used to run. So, basically however they want. There's no structure. There's usually there's one guy who runs everything, and he decides everything that happens in the ring, in social media, everywhere. And I don't think that's the way to run a business. Right. There's one guy in charge of everything, because he doesn't have time to do everything correctly. He does everything half-assed. He doesn't might not have knowledge for everything. Like, running a social media is way different than running a promotion. Otherwise, running training is way different than running a promotion where you just bump and run ropes. That's not training. That's just fucking around in the ring. So what we did in FCF, we divided the expertise to people who knew what they were doing, who wanted to take part in the business. And now we have you could say that everyone's running FCF. There's no 1 or 2 or even 3 guys or girls who runs. Me and Regina and 3 other guys are in the board. So we do the decisions on venues and the money decisions, what we have to do, and try to steer the ship on the right tracks. But everyone is providing something, at least almost everyone, not everyone. We always have a couple of people who come and go and don't do shit, but we have a place for them too.
Those motherfuckers that don't do shit, yeah, we'll take you in, whatever. That's cool. That's so good. And Ref Domi says, I love your story, right? But
Thanks, Domi.
Yes, but the friend in Helsinki, Mina says, that's it. That's all you found in Helsinki? That's it.
No, I found my wife to be, and I found my house. We're not living in Helsinki, actually. We're living in Tuusula, which is 40 kilometers from Helsinki. But it's very, very close to Helsinki.
Very close. Yeah.
It's good now. Actually, I think COVID was a big part when we decided to buy our house away from Helsinki, because in Finland, the most of COVID, is in Helsinki, because there's most of the people and most of the traffic to, other countries is through Helsinki. So that's the bottleneck here with the COVID
cases. Hey, that's smart to get the fuck away. I'm looking at I don't know. I'm debating. I love LA, but it's just fucking 4 million people.
Yeah, and I'm from Oulu, so there's a little bit of country boy in me. So I don't. I love to live in Helsinki. I really did, but buying a house, maybe someday raising a child and everything. I want to do it, in a quieter place.
Yeah,
and because Helsinki is so close, you can go there whenever you want from here.
No, 1,000%. Which,
Yeah.
you got to do what you love. You got to do what you love. Don McGuire wants to know, how do wrestlers in professional wrestling look at wrestlers like Matt Hughes, and I love what he does here, who I'm interviewing tonight. Here's a plug for the Fighter's Voice, and he's interviewing UFC Hall of Famer Matt Hughes tonight. So definitely want to check that out. But we have Kurt Angle, right? Like Olympic gold medal.
Brock Lesnar and Bobby Lashley. I think was in
Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
I mean, the Funks, right? Like the Funks, the Briscoes, they all were collegiate wrestlers. Ted DiBiase, I think.
And who's that new guy, the bro dude?
Matt Riddle. Yeah, Matt Riddle. Yeah, he's made way more money. It's weird, right? Like you make more money. Shayna Baszler makes way more money than she did fighting.
Ronda Rousey,
yeah, absolutely. Like
I watched UFC and MMA myself a bit, but I've never kind of got the hook on it. So it's never been my sport. Yeah. But of course I appreciate the fighters and everything. I have nothing against it.
I mean, so when done well, because a lot of people will say, it's funny because like it's here in the States, and I'm not saying that this is like a blanket statement, but it's like pro wrestling fans tend to not like MMA, right? And MMA fans definitely don't like wrestling.
It's the same here in Finland too. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So, but the thing about it is, if you talk to pro wrestlers, they love MMA. You look at MMA fighters, they love pro wrestling. Like Rampage Jackson, when he's doing the ow in the chain or whatever, he's doing Junkyard Dog. Like I knew right off the bat, so it's just like when done well, it's amazing. I mean, Muhammad Ali,
Conor McGregor, he's like complete package to put on a WWE ring.
Yes. Yeah. I mean, if you got heat for maybe being more like Stone Cold or CM Punk, well, McGregor is doing Roddy Piper and Ric Flair like circa 83. Yeah. Pretty much.
Yeah. I know. And the promos are, they're basically just like wrestling promos.
Oh yeah.
Which they do in UFC.
Yeah. Yeah.
And they're doing money with it, so why not do it? It's entertaining.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's all asses and seats, and
especially,
yes,
exactly.
Charles the Professor Wilton says, "Hey guys, what's up? Shout out to you, Charles.
What's up, Professor?
Yes, a wheelchair athlete, wheelchair boxer from Canada. So shout out to you, good sir. Yeah, and then DJ Yannick's over on Twitch says, "Hello from the UK." According to Woods, and good to see you as always. I hope you are safe and well. I have a question for you, for Ioni, if I may, Ioni. A few pairs of socks, but my question is, what socks do you have on today? And was the choice of socks a difficult one to make?
That's a random question, and I have a random answer. I don't have socks at the moment at all. I just before this interview, I went outside and did a little yard work, and I got on shower and just came from the shower to this interview. So I haven't had time to put on any socks yet.
There you go. Which, I mean, I have a friend that has a company, and it's called Soap Socks, and it's a deal where you put soap in like almost like little stuffed animals to let babies, be comfortable with taking a shower and all that jazz. So theoretically, you could be wearing soap socks on your feet. There you go.
Theoretically, yeah.
Yeah, theoretically. I'm just saying. In theory, that worked in my head. It came out fucking horrible when I said it. So, and then 10 points for the incredible sense of humor. Well, yeah, I agreed. 10 points for you.
There we go. Yeah.
Yes. And Regina loves the whole like, hey, we do this shit together. But she will say, except you are the jefe. You are the fucking boss of FCF.
Thanks for the kind words. And well, it takes a lot to organize, and I think the responsibility is the hardest part of being in the board, or the head of the board, president, if you would like to say. And I know it takes a lot. It's not easy, so I'm proud of it. I'm proud to be a president of pro wrestling organization, FCF Wrestling. And yeah, I would consider myself a jefe, if you like. But that doesn't mean I do everything alone.
Yeah, because that would be fucked up if Ioni is essentially the Vince McMahon of FCF. That kind of is like, it's a paradox, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
And one thing we are trying to always get better here in FCF, we are trying to be open to our own people. Everything we decide, we have these, notes where everyone can read them afterwards, what we have discussed. And every meeting, especially now when we are doing it remotely, everyone is welcome to join and listen what we talk about. This counts our board meetings, booking meetings, everything, social media meetings, and everything's done openly. And we ask for feedback. We want to talk to our own people very much, and ask what they want, what would they want to do here in FCF, what are their strengths, and we try to involve people here a lot.
I love it. Which, I mean, that's great fodder for a promo, right? The FCF Championship Committee, declares you ineligible for fucking fighting because you're an asshole or whatever. That's just like, I love that. When there's like, I found out with Aaron Goose Mahoney, who used to be a referee at both OVW and WWE. He said there was actually a pay window, right? And I remember,
Really?
times of old, watching, and Gorilla Monsoon, when somebody loses, is like, oh, he's not going to the pay window and whatever. The fact that there's an actual pay window in the WWE, I'm like, oh shit, this is great. This is amazing. Now, it was for an advance of the checks, like, like if the rental car was too much or whatever, like whatever. But in my head, I think, hey, if you don't win, you don't go to the fucking pay window. And it was weird because the pay window was, I think he said Sergeant Slaughter was at the pay window. So that's weird. Like, Sergeant Slaughter has the money. That's fun. It's fucking cool. Fucking cool.
Yeah, there's been a couple of odd people in FCF holding the money as well. So I'm not so surprised that it's kind of crazy somewhere else too.
Yeah, no, 100%.
It was weird when it started. Everything was weird. Everything was so secret and weird, and well, now it isn't.
Yeah, exactly. That's I guess the phrase, especially in 2020 and 2021, the new normal that's what's being kind of like thrown about and whatever. But I mean, it kind of is, right? It's a new normal.
And one good thing that we are doing also is that we are trying to get members who aren't wrestlers. Our social media manager right now is not a wrestler. He was a huge fan of us, and she had experience in social media marketing and running a company online. So we asked her if she would like to come join us and run FCF social media, and she was more than happy to join us. And now we have a pair of new eyes, not watching from pro wrestling eyes,
right?
How to do marketing or something. We don't want to cater our hardcore fans because they come to every show. It doesn't matter what we do, they will be there. We want to open our product to everyone. Those that haven't heard about us before, or maybe those that don't like pro wrestling, we want them to see that this is not the same product that it was 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. We have evolved so much and changed our product. So now we're trying to reach out for the potential customers who are basically everyone, but not the, redneck male people who used to watch pro wrestling with macho male force, and female wrestling was all about ass and titties. So that's not our product anymore. I know some people like it.
Yeah.
All power to them, but it's not good product in my opinion. So we don't want to cater for those people.
Right. Yeah, but wrestling is best when there's variety, right? Where there's different body types and different like characters and everything. That's when wrestling is awesome. Is when there's diversity.
It doesn't mean we don't. If you have, pig titties or something, you don't. Well, you not belong here. Of course you do. If you are, good person and you have a gimmick, but it means that we don't categorize people beforehand. And if someone is, what you would call 80s and 90s female wrestling, blonde and slim with figures, of course they are welcomed to wrestle here, but we won't put them on a bikini match if they don't want to.
Wow.
And of course we want to see muscles, we want to see half naked men in the ring, because it's part of pro wrestling. Sex appeal is part of pro wrestling, but there's so much more to pro wrestling than sex appeal.
I would like to think so, otherwise, some of the things that my friends said in high school about me would be true if it was just about like half naked bodies and whatever, which, if that's your deal, if that's your jam, 10 points for you. But, yeah, absolutely. Now, and gosh, the Super Janby says it's basically summer in Finland and we don't wear socks in the summer. And DJ Annex says, I'm not wearing socks today either, funnily.
Nice, Yannex. High five.
Yeah, high five. Or we could even do the self high five. There you go. All right. And it's so cool. We've got some Joe the Hitman Elmore in the comments from BKFC, Bare Knuckle Fighting Championship. I'm gonna go ahead and I don't know. I lost his here we go. He's what's up, Don McGuire? So it's fun little chats that are happening there. And this is
referring to you or me?
I think it's referring to you. I want to believe it's you. Yes, 100%. So one thing that Mina brought up, right, was the gimmick, right? Did you talk about the Dr. Ioni gimmick yet? And no, we haven't. So I think this is the amazing time to go ahead and bring it up. Tell us about Dr. Ioni.
All right. So the gimmick was my first gimmick. Well, actually, I have two gimmicks, or have had two gimmicks in my career, Dr. Gimmick and this one right now. Dr. Gimmick came from the name, because my first name is Ioni. It's like Joni. Mm-hmm. And I was thinking of my wrestling name before my debut, and the same friend where I lived when I started said that, how about Johnny Ioni? It's like rhymes, and it's got this, it's short, it's good. And I also heard that your name has to be something people can chant. Mm-hmm. So I was like, Johnny Ioni, that's easy to chant. Yeah, that sounds good. Maybe I go with that one. And I told it to, I think it was one of our bookers at the time. I asked their opinion. What would you, how do you like Johnny Ioni for my wrestling name? And I just saw his eyes light up. He was like, yes, and you're a mad scientist, Ioni, and we're going to put you some glasses and, lab coat. And I was like, whoa, what are you talking about? And then, because Ioni is like, is it like a neutron or It's something to
Yeah,
do.
like an ion.
Science.
Yeah,
Ion. Yeah.
yeah.
It's Ioni is Finnish for ion. So it had something to do with science. So we went for the science route then, and I took a couple of days, thinking about the mad scientist gimmick. And the more I thought about it, the more I fell in love with it. My first match wasn't the scientist gimmick. I was Johnny Ioni, regular me with singlet and boots, and I was like jobber, and I lost the match in 2 minutes. But it's still a hell of a match. And then afterwards, I changed the gimmick to Mad Scientist. And I loved it. It was a great gimmick and people loved it. And that's one of the reasons why I became so popular in FCF and in Finland, because the character was so strong. And the name was also, I dropped the Ioni part. It was just Ioni or Dr. Ioni. But it was just like you heard from the promo video. It's just Ioni, Ioni.
Yeah.
Everyone was chanting for me. Even when I was the doctor gimmick and I was heel, people started chanting for me. I think it was a couple of 2 years in from my career that people started to like me very, very much and fell in love. And then we had to, turn Ioni to face. There was no other options. There was no point keeping Ioni heel. And I was already turning the scientist gimmick step by step to more realistic, way. I started with the glasses, the basic mad scientist glasses and white lab coat. I changed it to, and I had the white beard. I painted my beard white to give that, that Albert Einstein look.
Yes.
And then I started to, I stopped painting my beard part because for one, I wanted to be more realistic, and two, it usually just my sweat used to, remove it in the matches. Then I changed the glasses to gas mask. I changed the coat, or I didn't change it. I modified it. I put the nuclear logo on the back and kind of like this black, what you call it?
Ringer T-shirt, yeah.
Yeah.
The color,
color black on the lab coat. And I got myself those white bicep strings. And I was going more for a realistic doctor, I was still crazy. I was really crazy. I was like, in the ring and everything. But I wanted to do a little bit like, my goal was to be on the main event of FCF Wrestling, and my goal was to be a champion one day. And the doctor, when it started, it was more for a comedic character, comedic gimmick, and I wanted to move a bit too realistic. And then one day we just decided to change the whole gimmick to Puolen Suomen Painija. It means actually it's there's a funny story. This is not funny for you because this is funny because my gimmick, the name of my gimmick is Puolen Suomen Painija Ioni, and that means it's half Finland's wrestler. And I know it doesn't make any sense to you, right?
No. Again, we have Roman Reigns, who's a chief of a Samoan family, but wears SWAT gear. But come with it.
But how Finland's wrestler, we have this saying in Finland, Puolen Suomen Painija, which means word to word, it means half Finland's wrestler. And it means that, I'm from Oulu, and Oulu is kind of like in the middle of Finland.
Yeah.
So we don't have much wrestlers from the north. Everyone's from, Helsinki area. So I was, there was one guy actually who was from Oulu, but he didn't bring it to his gimmick at all. So I just wanted to, do a Oulu gimmick. I wanted to bring my, origin to the gimmick.
Yeah.
Then there's this, is it dialect? When you speak you speak Finnish, but you speak it differently than in Helsinki. In Oulu, we speak different Finnish. So the Oulu dialect was so strong and still is in my speech. And I think it was, I thought about it, and I had so many comments here in Helsinki that, are you from Oulu? We can hear from your speech. I was like, this might be, good in promos and use this on the wrestling. So I did. I do a lot of promos, and I have lived here now for 7 years. So it's not so strong anymore, the dialect, that it was 7 years ago when I lived in Oulu, but I still have it. And when I'm doing promos, I do it extra hard, turn it up to 11. Be the most Oulu person you can find in Finland. So everyone knows that I'm from Oulu. And it's working quite well. After I'm doing the Oulu gimmick, there's been a couple of magazines from Oulu who are contacted me and wanted to do a magazine article about me, because I'm only wrestler from Oulu in Finland. So it's good money. Not money from me, but money gimmick.
Yeah, absolutely. And it happens. Who cares about money, really? Says Regina. Right. I mean,
it's all love for the game.
I love it. And she probably meant that for another thing that we talked about, but it fit here. So amazing. Again, that's a money gimmick where regardless of whatever happened, you can kind of put it in there, and amazing. But it's kind of cool, especially for somebody that only intended, hey, I'm out of a job. I'm going to move to Helsinki. I'm going to train for one match. And then guess what? Full circle, paper and magazines from your hometown are basically.
Yeah, I remember there's this one, it's called Forum 24. It's like a free newspaper that gets around in Oulu and in the area. I remember one time I had started my wrestling training, and I was back home in Oulu visiting a friend of mine, and he had this Forum 24 magazine I think it was on his laundry machine, and I watched the cover, and there was like persons of Oulu or something like that, and there was a picture of, whole the front page was a picture of some person from Oulu and what they do, and they did an article about him or her. I don't remember who it was, but I watched that and I was like, man, it would be cool to be in front page of Forum 24 someday. And guess what? I've been in the front page of Forum 24 with my Puolen Painija, half Finland's wrestler gimmick. And actually, Regina is on that picture as well, because I'm giving double clothesline to Regina and his tag partner, Make Smooth, on that picture. All three of us are in the front page of Forum 24.
I think that's over. That's over as fuck. And here's the deal, right? So I'm here in the United States, right? That might be a free paper to you guys there in Finland. But guess what? I would probably have to pay somebody to break quarantine and then ship it over to me in the States for your free paper. So the money that I pay, hey, guess what? It's not a free paper to me. So that shit is over. And I've never been, I'm barely like a junior army fucking picture in my high school yearbook. I've no other picture. You have a distinction that I don't have, and a lot of people don't, and
and there was this huge article in Kaleva as well. It's like, is it like New York Times? It's big newspaper. It's Oulu's New York Times, Kaleva, which did a huge article on me as well. I wasn't in the front page, but I was in the middle page, whole page. That's crazy to think about.
No, not fucking bad, good sir, for a guy that just wanted out of a job and wanted one match in Helsinki, which and holy hell, and, a more realistic doctor. I
didn't know what the end goal was, the more realistic doctor, but I went somewhere with it.
I'm quite happy that I've met a doctor, but only in the ring. It's I mean, you might be performing procedures maybe later tonight, but
someone told me, I think it was one of Halloween parties back in Oulu, and they were like, yeah, Joni, you have to come to a party and dress up like Dr. Ioni. We would like that. And I was like, no, man, you have to pay to see Dr. Ioni. I'm not coming to any party with this money gimmick.
Yeah, that's fuck yeah. Do you think fucking Stone Cold just shows up just all random? No, you fucking pay that man, good sir. And oh god, and you Olu people don't speak Finnish at all. Oh,
that's crazy. I was in Oulu, I think, a couple of years back, and I was in a restaurant, and the waiter came to us, and started to talk to us, and I was like, damn, he speaks really, really strong Oulu dialect. It was weird because I always thought that I speak really, strong Oulu dialect, but it must be the 7 years I lived here. I'm also starting to hear the Oulu dialect. I still understand it though.
Well,
But
yeah, which maybe you can decipher this for me. What is that Ref Domi say?
actually, there's a typo. It's only with 2 A. It's kahvia. It's coffee.
Okay.
And there's also pahavi kahvi, which is, takeaway coffee from gas station.
Yeah.
It's cardboard. The material where it's served is pahvi. And we Oulu people, we like to put, vowels everywhere. It's like it's pahvi kahvi, and to us it's pahavi kahvi. It's like fluid dialect.
Hey, I like it because when I drink coffee, the fluids run right through me, is what I'm saying. No matter how good a quality or less lack thereof it is. So I'm just saying. And in Finland, also, our government supports journalism. I bet this paper wouldn't be free without government money. I live in the yeah, and Jesus, our government here in the States, motherfuckers, all of them, yeah, and the ups. My bad. There you go. I love it.
No problem, dummy.
Which I gotta ask, right? So during the Dr. Ioni, character, what was the name of your finisher? Do you remember?
It was Iron Cannon. I'm a huge video game nerd as well, and I loved when I was younger. I loved Command and Conquer series.
Yes.
And there's this, huge Iron Cannon. It's like a plasma. I think there's one in Star Wars as well.
Yeah.
Cannon. It's like laser beam, cannon. So my hand was Iron Cannon, of course, because I was Iron and this was Cannon. So it's like a running forearm to the chest. That's Iron Cannon.
See, I love that, but I'm even like a little bit more simplistic. You put a lot of time and effort. You guys were working heel anyway, right? So I wanted to say that you had a bag of maybe ionic powder, right? That you threw in the face of your opponents, the faces, and you could have called it, "You're blinding me with science."
That's nice.
See?
I had one idea for a atomic bomb. I think it was Alabama Slam or something, but that was right when I started, and someone said that it's too dangerous to take the move, so I never did it. I also did a lot of atomic drops, of course.
Yeah.
Regular and reversed atomic drops. And I used to scratch my opponent's face in the ropes.
Yeah.
And yell, "Kitka!" It's basically like friction. Is it friction when you have
friction? Yeah.
Friction. Yeah. I yelled friction and scratched their faces on the ropes. And I had a lot of science shit in the ring.
I fucking love it because if you can't work your gimmick, you can't work, man.
And I had this, table of mathematic equations where I used to, get the referee's attention and do dirty stuff, and it was wild. I had so many ideas for the gimmick. I also had the idea for a match, which would be a human experiment match.
Really?
Experiment match.
Yeah.
It was basically like stretcher match, but you had to put your opponent on a, like the Frankenstein table.
Yeah.
Where you strap it on the hands and legs and the neck. And when you have all those 5 straps, closed, you had to inject something onto your opponent. And that's the only way to win a human experience match.
Which
I'm sorry to say that I never got the chance to do this match.
yeah, because it's kind of poetic justice. I mean, we're
Yeah.
in the times of COVID and COVID vaccines. That shit is over, bro.
Yeah.
You're ahead of your time. Shit. I mean, I think that's amazing. Now, Don McGuire says that he's a little bit nervous for the Matt Hughes interview, which you shouldn't be. You're a total pro, sir. So
You got this, McGuire.
Yeah, damn right. You got this from Finland.
Do it, man.
Yeah,
Do it.
man. Hell yes. So fuck yeah, man. I love it. Now, he also wants to know who would be a dream match for Ioni.
Dream match or dream rematch, one that I want to have in my career, or one that, well, I will give you both. Okay,
Yes.
so one which I would like to have and probably will have, actually have had, but it wasn't a proper match. It's with Juhana Kinkon Karhula. I want to have a proper match with him. Big. I actually lost my title for him last September.
Right.
He's the evil GM, of FCF Wrestling, and he, of course, used his dirty ways to win the championship away from me in a short match, let's just say. So I want to, not rematch per se, but I want to, have this ourself WrestleMania. So it's Talvisota, Winter War event match with Juhana Kinkon Karhula. I also want to have a great, main event tag team match with the Sun. I'm not sure about the opponents yet. This is a kind of new dream. We actually got the tag team championship belts for our FCF Wrestling now.
Yes.
A couple of days ago, actually, we got them. So they are brand new. And we are going to push the tag team division like it was main event here in Finland. So if there's a tag team championship match, we're going to put it on the main event. And I was thinking about the ideas, and the Sun is a very good friend of mine. We have had a couple of matches against each other, and I really like to work with him. So I would like to be in tag team with him for those belts. Don't know who against, but yeah. And of course, dream match.
Yes.
That's never gonna happen. Would be, I think, Stone Cold is my favorite wrestler of all time, but Dwayne Johnson is my favorite person of all time. So it would be against The Rock, and it would include a day with The Rock. So we would start up, wake up in the morning. We would go train together in the gym. We could eat something light, of course, because before match you won't want to eat a hefty meal. But then we would have our match, main event match on the card, and after that we would go and eat a fucking Rock caliber cheat meal and have some tequila afterwards.
Yeah,
That would be a match.
I love it. I know. I want you and Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson to basically be on his cheat day. Right?
Yeah, basically, yeah.
Yeah, like where he eats like 2 stacks of fucking pancakes, like, a fucking whole pizza and everything. And then you guys wrestle an Iron Man match. That would be amazing. That's what I want. I'm just saying, but we always, we can't always get what we want, right? That's what the Rolling Stone says. So
Never say never, though.
Never say
alive.
never.
We are both alive, so.
This is facts, and here's the deal. Because I was also like, maybe even Shawn Michaels creeps in there because he's a part of one half of your favorite match, and I'm like, hey, there might be a Saudi prince that wants, just brings people out, no matter how shitty the match will be. I mean,
Shawn Michaels and Undertaker, book it.
Yes, Saudi Sheik, we're talking to you, Abu Dhabi. Come on. So just saying, let's have a FCF showdown in the UAE and just man, that I think that's over. Let's do that. hey, and if you need a announcer, commentator deal, whatever, I might know a guy that you could fly all the way out from California because you guys are good for it. I might know a guy, is what I'm saying.
Sounds good.
Yes. And you're the Finnish Rock, which there you go. I like that, which that's a promo.
If people compare me to Stone Cold and The Rock, I think I've done my job well. I like that. I like those comparisons. Those I will take. Even the CM Punk one. I liked CM Punk one time.
Yeah?
Not so much anymore, but I heard he's a kind of douchebag, but I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I'm not one to say how's his like personality, but you know,
Yeah.
I'll take it. I'm the hybrid of those three: Rock, CM Punk, and Stone Cold.
That's a Hall of Fame worthy fucking comparison. Which I mean, when FC, I mean, you guys have the FCF tag team titles that have newly been minted and arrived at the doorstep of the committee offices of FCF, right? Just a few short days ago, right? Who's to say that, hey, you're in the FCF Hall of Fame, you know, when you decide to hang it up, and those are the comparisons, you know, that are being drawn up in it. But he was our own. He was our own.
I will remember to thank CM Punk, Stone Cold, and Rock in my Hall of Fame speech.
Yes. And I actually would love for you, because she says that you're a Finnish Rock. I would love for the Rock to be in your finisher. See what I did there? See?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Work your finisher on the Rock, which that's what I'm going with. And again, it's one of the ones that worked well in my head, but when I said it, I wanted that son of a bitch back. Like this. There you go. And Don McGuire says you have found a new fan. Woods, tremendous guest there. No, 100%. And this is
thanks, McGuire.
Yes, this is Ioni, man. He's the all-powerful Ioni. Now,
that's right.
Charles Wilton wants to know, funny question, what would hurt more, a folding chair or a folding wheelchair?
Nice. That's a new question. I would say the folding wheelchair would be more dangerous because there's a chance that if it's, it's folded, but there's a chance when you hit it, it comes unfolded, and then you fell right into it and you fell down the stairs. So I would say folding a wheelchair would hurt the most.
Yeah. Oh God, book it, bro. I think that's I want to see that in my FCF wrestling. Come on, that's an amazing. That shit is that's amazing. That's a money gimmick, you know.
Yeah.
And then Regina says, in terms of your dream match, you had like 6 to 8 minutes. Is that not a proper match for men? Shaking my head, right? But I get what you mean. You want a main event run with him. So
correction, it was 4 minutes. And there was no shine and like a 10-second comeback. So no, that's not a proper match. Not for main eventers.
Yeah, damn right. Yeah, we're working in the top slot. We're working on top, folks. Like that's it, you know. And
give me my shit.
Yeah,
I want my shit in.
Yes, absolutely. Which that's what she said. Anyway, so one of the things that I love about you, right, is the fact that you have made your presence known in this kind of COVID era time, not just on social media, but also on Twitch, which you stream, right? And I love the fact that, you know, people in a particular, you know, specialty kind of venture out, you know. So how did Twitch streaming come about to you?
Actually, I was streaming like 9 years ago, before I moved to Helsinki for the pro wrestling. I was streaming for my, you know, for the fun sake of it. I had no, you know, goals or anything. I just put on live, play some games for my friends, and I have watched other streamers a lot in my time. And like I said, I'm a huge video game nerd. I love to play. I love to watch other people play. I love to talk about video games. And streaming is like, well, it's whole lot of similar to pro wrestling. You know, it's interactive, it's live. You have to work the audience. Same time you play the game, and there's so much potential in live streaming that no one has done. You know, I had this idea that I would want to do. Well, people stream pro wrestling events nowadays. Slam is one good in the States one example, but I don't think there's done a pro wrestling show where you work the stream audience. You know, it could be done like with the earbuds for the referee, that someone yells something in the chat and the wrestlers react to that, which is typed in the chat. I think that would be a crazy idea, and it's something I'm trying to get to work. After this COVID shit, we get this up and running. But yeah, live streaming. I've streamed more than games. I've streamed, training, the gym, outside gym, playing, a cooking stream. I had a cooking stream one time, and you can do anything live streaming. It's just it's entertaining. You have to entertain people. Whatever you do, you have to entertain people. So it's very much like pro wrestling. So that's why I like it.
I love it. And again, it's venturing out, right? Not just doing a pro wrestling stream, not just doing a video game stream, like all of it, and it's basically at a time where you can't really parlay your love and your art for entertaining people. Here's a new facet and a new way, and it's never been easier. I mean, I went to radio school, in the early 2000s when I graduated from high school, and I went 4 hours each way to go to radio school. And now, theoretically, a kid that gets their mom's credit card and buys like maybe $80 worth of gear on Amazon has it shipped to the house and literally isn't a studio apartment. Hell, I'm doing it. Jesus. Yeah,
and the whole world is your audience. Anyone can find it. And I had this idea. I started to watch my own matches from the beginning, from my debut, and chronologically order for every match, because I have every match on a videotape except for I think 2 or 3 matches. So what I do now in my streams, every stream that I start, I will start with the match. Me and the chat will watch one of my matches from the early days, and we go all the way for my whole career. And I comment on the matches, I comment on my career at that point, I comment on FCF Wrestling and the whole pro wrestling in Finland, how it's evolved, what has changed it. And, it's good content for the people who can't see live wrestling these days.
Yeah.
And it's good content for me, it's like a diary. Well, it's called Pro Wrestling Diaries. The whole show is Pro Wrestling Diaries. So it's good content for the audience, but it's good content for me also, because I get to remember all the good and bad I've been through with this pro wrestling career. And then I make VODs out of them and put to YouTube so I can watch them later when I'm old, like 80, so I can watch every one of my matches with my commentary on it.
Oh, that's amazing. That's amazing. And it's almost like, I think Jerry Lawler did it where he wrestled and actually did commentary, in his kind of heel gimmick, but like you're doing it in a bit of reverence, and especially at a time where you can't.
Yeah, it's like, have this a TV series with the commentary editions where the actors or, producers or writers commented at the same time you watch the show. So it's kind of like that. I'm not commenting like, oh, here comes the power bomb or something like that. I'm like, okay, this is what I look like. This is how good I was back then. And I remember where I got those boots, and this kind of interactive stuff with the audience, with the venues and everything.
It's not like Zack Snyder didn't cut a 4-hour version of a movie that he thought he could do better, right? So we're here, and I think that's great, because that's what, why shoot interviews, by the time we're at kayfabe commentaries and Sean Oliver and a lot of other interviewers, that became a multi-million-dollar business, is we kind of wanted to know. That's why, obviously pre-COVID, stuff like StarCast and a different type of conventions because us fans we remember it, so to see the wrestler's point of view, it's amazing.
It is, and all this talk about kayfabe is dead bullshit. Yeah, it's dead. Deal with it. You can still work people. It's just harder nowadays, so it's still doable. And I think it's better product that we don't, try to protect it anymore. That we kind of give people, we tell that okay, it's theater. Of course, it's scripted. Not everything is scripted, but people know what the pro wrestling stuff is about.
Yeah.
We don't pretend to be boxers or MMA because everyone knows we are not. So it's useless to pretend to be. We do the matches to look legit as we can. That's of course we want to be. It has to be real in the sense that it's happening in front of your eyes. Nobody want to watch bullshit.
Yes.
Slapping or hits that don't hit. They have to hit. We have to take contact. It is hard. It is physical. It takes a toll on your body, but it's not supposed to be real fighting.
Yeah. I mean, that's a cool thing, right? Different schools of thought, because there might be some people that have, MMA oriented stuff like Matt Riddle, right? But then he doesn't do any MMA shit in his gimmick, right? He came from MMA, but that motherfucker's a pro wrestler. Like he just,
I think isn't his gimmick like a dude who smokes weed?
Yes.
It's not like he's a legit
mushrooms.
fighder. Yeah. It's like, it works in pro wrestling because it's not. Was it Ken Shamrock or something who was like legit fighter or something?
Yeah, Ken Shamrock, Dan the Beast Severn.
They were not really that over. Never in WWE.
Shamrock was. Shamrock fucking tapped out The Rock at Mania.
Oh, okay.
Shamrock was fucking over, bro.
Yeah.
And Severn was NWA champion, but also this was a time of the NWA where, hey, Mike Rapata, the Colorado Kid, was NWA champion. You ever heard of him? Yeah. Probably not.
But if you look at the greatest, biggest names and biggest stars, Undertaker, The Rock, Austin, there's a guy who drinks beer. There's a guy who's dead, zombie. There's a guy who, raises his eyebrow and talks shit. So they're not, Undertaker could beat everyone's ass. He's a legit dude. But the point of it is not that he's beating up everyone. There's a lot more to it than the, tough guy shit.
Yeah,
I agree. Have to be tough. Well, of course you have to be tough. This is no, this is a ballet, as someone would say. But there's so much more to it.
Yeah, shit ain't ballet. I agree. To which your sister-in-law says, "Know your role and shut your mouth." Fuck, man. It's gonna be weird at the family dinner.
Someone's angry.
I'm just saying, it's gonna be weird at family dinner when you guys all get together again. It's just gonna be weird animosity, which you should film, and put it on the FCF YouTube and Twitch pages, because I think that might be good.
might be.
Yeah.
There was a time, I think it was last summer or year before that, when we were hanging out drunk with Regina, and we thought like, maybe we should videotape this. It would be good, but luckily we didn't. You have to keep something private from the audience.
Yeah, no, 100%. I mean, my wife and I, we kind of like every time there's like a reality show of like a couple or whatever, we go, that would be cool. But then the track record, like you look at, I think Sharon and Ozzy are the only ones that the Osbournes, like they're the only ones that are still together. And then maybe Gene Simmons and his now wife, right? But like Jessica Simpson and her dude from 98 Degrees, like it doesn't end well if you're a couple and a reality show. Like it's just, it doesn't work.
And if anyone's wondering, no, me and Regina are not couple. If you just tune in.
Yeah, see, there you go.
But we are related. Somewhat related.
Own reality show.
Oh, that would be nice. Yeah.
Just saying.
Maybe someday. Live in Twitch.
Yes, that's where it is. So, I mean, Ioni, you've done some cool things for a guy that, again, lost his job. He kind of fell into wrestling later, after kind of
Yeah.
a boyhood fascination with wrestling. Traveled all the way across the country to do it for one match. And you've done some incredible things, since then. So obviously there's been a lot of people that have attributed to your success, right? So both professionally and personally. So take as long as you need. Let's get some shout outs out of the way.
Well, let's get the obvious one first. Regina. We started at the same time, 2014. She's been my family before I became her family, actual family.
Yeah.
And other parts of the family, or brotherhood, as we like to call it, a couple of other dudes, Make Smooth, which is Regina's tag partner, and Jose Andersen, who is the white painted dude you saw in the promo.
Yes.
They are a part of the class of 2014 when we started, and nowadays I'm lucky to call them my personal, very good friends. Then we have, I think, who has had the most impact on my career, as a training and in-ring experience, or talent, in-ring talent. It has to be Juhana Kinkon Karhula, who won the championship from me, and it's a big part of the reason why I want to have a good match against him is because he's had a huge impact on my career. And then I want to thank Shemeka, who is, maybe one of the best wrestlers nowadays in Finland, who is a very good friend of mine as well. Very good gym partner. Sorry to say that we can't go to the gym anymore because of the COVID. And now that I moved away from Helsinki, we don't go to the gym anymore. I miss it like hell. He was the best gym partner I've ever had. And a very good friend. And then the son, which I talked about with the tag team championship, might be the closest friend I have had here in the pro wrestling business. And it's funny because, when I left Oulu and moved to Helsinki, I was afraid that, I don't have any friends or family here in Helsinki, and I'm going to lose the family and friends. We're going to separate our ways when I move. But, we are so close, or I'm so close to my original family and friends in Oulu that we are still very close. And now when I've moved, I have found myself a new family, new very, very good friends, wife to be, everything here because of pro wrestling. And I'm ever so grateful that I did the, leap and moved here.
Yeah, sometimes, and I love that, because especially at a time like this where a lot of people have lost their lives, lost their jobs, lost a semblance of security, lost their homes, right? And people are trying to figure out what is there. They want to bet on themselves, but don't have maybe the confidence to, right? Your story is one of somebody who did that, who kind of like, yes, I could stay in my farm town and what have you, but I want to try something different, right? And you were given kind of an unfortunate deal in having your company go out of business and lay off everyone and whatever, but you made that negative into a positive, which I feel that needs to happen for a lot of people, right? Whether they
and it doesn't have to be pro wrestling or something, pro wrestling, whether it's bad or good or anything, it brought so much to my life. I was passionate about something. I had this is kind of cliche to say, but I had a meaning in my life when I just looked forward to every show and what can I do to make myself in pro wrestling better, what can I do to make pro wrestling in Finland better. And it has given me so much stuff to do in my life. So it's of course it affects other parts of my life as well, So I'm more confident in having to get another job or raising a family or anything. So it's whether it's just pro wrestling, it's been a huge part in my life.
I love it. Again, follow your passions. That's what, it'll take you. Heck, you might even start a podcast or something. I guess. I mean, that's it, but following the dream, which I didn't get to tell you. So my deal, because, we were talking about The Rock earlier, but it's funny because like my kind of ethnic genealogy, right? The kind of African descendant of slaves, American, right? On my dad's side, and then my mom's side, Fijians, right? So similar genealogy to The Rock, the Roman Reigns and whatever. So in my head, I was just like, oh, I'm going to probably be a giant and I'm going to go over to Japan and wrestle in Japan because who wouldn't want to be big in Japan? And then I was going to blow out my knees because that's what people who are tall do. They blow out their knees, right? And then I would settle into some commentary position somewhere in North America, right? And that's it. But genetics are a motherfucking thing. Of course, you're the mad scientist. You know this, right? Ions and all that shit, whatever. I filled out all of it, 5'9". But it took like 15 years after I thought my radio career was dead that I'm doing interviews for exactly what I want to do. Combat sports, and pro wrestling is a combat sport. So again, folks, follow your.
I never dreamed of being a pro wrestler since I was 28 years old. Yeah. Then I found, there's pro wrestling in Finland. Oh, my job just went. Oh, now I have to move, and bam, here we are.
Yeah,
you never know.
But see, that's
always keep your eye and mind open for things. If you like something, go for it.
Damn right. And Mika says, just hearts all about.
Thanks.
Yes, absolutely. And I gave almost the exact same shout outs.
What do you know?
Yeah, there you go. Must be related.
Surround yourself with good people. Isn't that the saying?
That's exactly it. And Charles, the professor, says dream. Just dream. Just look at us. No, 100%, and work behind it, put some fucking fire under your ass to fucking do it. But obviously you're going to be a lot more, I guess, complete. Look at me getting all sappy and cliche, right? But you'll feel a lot more complete doing the fucking thing rather than maybe, because every job, that was somebody else's dream that they put into action. Every company, every whatever. So if you're working 8+ hours a day, 40+ hours a week, working for somebody else's dream, and that person who had the dream of the company is probably dead and gone, right? So if you're doing that for you, take 5 minutes for yourself. Write some shit down.
And I'm not saying quit your day job now and go follow your dream. Oh, you have to keep your head straight and, but reach for the goals, reach for the dreams, do something get yourself more closer to the dream, and things will figure it out.
Fuck yeah, 100%. I agree, dude. Yeah. I loved having you here. Now, obviously, here's the deal. Obviously, people want more Ioni in their life, especially now that they can't see you do your thing in person, right? So for those who want to follow you, like I so eloquently did, where can they find you on social media, on Twitch?
I have Ionization is Ionisaatio. It's my name, Ioni, and Saatio, Saatio, and that's on every social media. I think not everyone, but every social media that counts. It's YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, TikTok. You can find me there.
Hey, it's Facebook too. You got a Facebook page there?
Facebook too. I've kind of lost interest to Facebook, but it's hanging around. Well,
I tagged it in this damn interview, so there.
Yeah, and I shared your post, so I do something in there. Yeah.
See, so you can definitely find him in all of the social media, and I suggest you.
But TikTok is where it is. Follow me on TikTok. That's the major one.
Oh shit! TikTok.
If you don't have a TikTok account, do it now. Create it now, and first one you follow is Ionisaatio.
There it is.
You won't regret it.
There you go. Oh fuck yeah! Dude, Ioni, I couldn't think of a better place if I can do this. I can't thank you enough for doing this.
Thanks
And
for having me. I had a blast.
likewise, my man. And yes,
There
Mina.
it is.
Yes, damn right. But again, Ioni, thank you for joining us here. Thank you guys for joining us here at According to Woods. And if you haven't already done so, go ahead and like, share, and subscribe to the According to Woods podcast on Facebook, YouTube, and Twitch. And I mean, Ioni, you're subscribed, right?
Yeah, of course.
Damn right. So, guys, be like Ioni in many ways, but
Be
also,
like me.
yeah, be like him. That's what I say, right? But if you don't believe me or Ioni, and I don't know why you wouldn't, here's another pro wrestler. Her name's Zeta Zhang to convince you.
Hey, this is Zeta Zhang. Make sure you subscribe to According to Woods YouTube.